It doesn't.
I'd like to call the meeting to order at 9:02 a.m. I apologize for the mayor. She's under the weather this morning, so I will be chairing the meeting today. I'd like a roll call, please.
Councillor Florent.
Here.
Councillor Collins.
Yeah.
Councillor Kuya. Here. Councillor Pizzo.
Here.
Councillor Rodnick.
Here.
Councillor Sydock.
Present.
I'll read the land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that we are gathered on the unceded traditional territory of the Algonquin Anishinaabe people, specifically the Madawaskarini, people of the Madawaska River. We further acknowledge that the Algonquin people have been stewards of this land since time immemorial, and we strive to treat the land along with the flora and fauna it supports, the people, their customs and traditions with honor and respect. Today, this area is home to people of all walks of life, and we acknowledge the shared opportunities and responsibilities to live, work, and survive within this beautiful territory. Chi Miigwech, all my relations. Are there any additions or amendments to the agenda?
I can add one, I'd like to add another motion, council to approve the HVAC system at the Madawaska Conference.
So noted. Anything else? I have a motion to adopt the agenda as amended by Councillor Collins, seconded by Councillor Kuyak. Moved by Councillor Collins, seconded by Councillor Kuyak, that Council for the Corporation of the Township of South Algonquin adopts the agenda as circulated for the regular council meeting of June the 4th, 2025. Any discussion? All in favor? It's approved. Are there any, does anybody wish to disclose a pecuniary interest or general nature thereof? And I am declaring a pecuniary interest in the motion to appoint me as deputy mayor, because it maybe could result in a salary change sometime down the road. There are no delegations or petitions.
None.
The minutes of the previous meeting, I have a motion to adopt by Councillor Pizzo, seconded by Councillor Sydock.
I can read that if you like.
Sure.
That council for the corporation of the township of South Algonquin adopts the minutes of the regular council meeting of May 14th, 2025 as circulated.
Any discussion? All in favor? Approved. Or carried, I should say. I need a motion to adopt the minutes of the Waste Management Committee meeting of May the 14th. Moved by Councillor Collins, seconded by Councillor Rodnick.
The council for the corporation of the township of South Algonquin adopts the minutes of the Waste Management Committee meeting of May 14, 2025 as circulated.
Any discussion? All in favor? Carried. I need a motion to adopt the minutes of the Human Resources Administration Public Relations Committee meeting of May the 22nd.
I'll move that.
Moved by Councillor Sydock, seconded by Councillor Pizzo.
The council for the corporation of the township of South Algonquin adopts the minutes of the Human Resources Administration Public Relations Committee meeting of May 22nd, 2025 as circulated.
Any discussion? All in favor? Carried. Now I need a motion to adopt the minutes of the Economic Development Committee meeting of May the 22nd. With Councillor Kuyak, seconded by Councillor Collins.
That council for the corporation of the township of South Algonquin adopts the minutes of the Economic Development Committee meeting of May 22nd, 2025 as circulated.
Any discussion? All in favor? It's carried. Committee staff or council reports. The first one is the minutes of the M&L Recreation Committee. I don't have anything to add. Anybody else? If not, we'll move on to the minutes of the Whitney Recreation Committee.
There's nothing to add with those minutes that are there. I will just bring to everybody's attention, we had a meeting yesterday evening. The committee decided to give $500 for trail repair for the snowmobile club, I believe. They also opted to pay $1,500 to fill the baseball diamond. Not sure where that stands. As well, they've okayed money to go towards the grass mats for the new playground equipment that's coming up or in, I guess, 3-4 weeks before it's here.
Supposed to be 6 weeks.
6 weeks.
Yeah.
Up to $2,000, so that's great. It is inclusive play equipment, and the grass mats are required so that anybody with mobility issues can get to them. So no sense having them if you don't have the mats, and that's great. The big Canada Day celebration, cornhole, etc., is on the 28th of June. It was been well attended the last couple years, and we're looking forward to it. Sort in need of volunteers, but I'm sure it always falls together nicely at that day, so I'm sure it'll all happen again. The fireworks will be on the 1st. And I guess that's about it.
I have one question. The blow up Easter bunny that is dead, is it really dead?
I don't know yet.
Oh, right, your other half is looking at the electrical, yes?
He hasn't had time.
Okay.
We haven't even, I forgot to ask her about that. She needs to deliver it first, so.
Okay, I was very worried about it, you know.
Yeah, the other request that came from the committee last night was to either have another set of keys dedicated to the recreation committee, or to install a lockbox so that one set of keys could be left in the lockbox outside, because we have so many people doing various things. They're constantly running around for keys. So I will work that out, but that was one of their requests. I can't remember if there's any other requests.
We could get Adam to price a box if everybody's in agreement. What's happening is we had to scale back on the amount of keys that were out there for that building, just because there were so many out there, and we got some good keys made, good
Yes.
locks put on, but I understand like the problem being that the recreation committee can't get in there. We could always change the code every so often and just give it to those people that need it.
Mhm.
But if that's something we can look into for pricing.
Sure.
I was going to add, I think if we do that, then the code needs to be changed at least once a month,
Yes.
if not once a week, because other people.
Oh, here's my code.
Yeah,
How is Madawaska doing it, Joe? Do they have a coded,
No,
Yeah.
everybody has, not everybody, certain people have keys. One of the problems that does arise, and it's rare, but somebody has to bring something to the hall for an event that's in a couple of days, and the hall is rented to somebody else, and they don't know until they get there. Sometimes until they go in the building, they don't know, like during the tax season, when there's somebody from tax working from Canada Revenue working in there. But occasionally there may need to be a bit more communication between the staff here and the recreation committee. as far as scheduling is concerned, so that they know when it's being used.
I think we broached that last meeting with a community calendar, didn't we? And if,
Yeah, but
The
there's things
tax-
come up all the time. There was a meeting, something was going on at the hall the other morning, and I don't think anybody was aware. So, you know, sometimes people have to have a meeting in a public place and they only know 2 or 3 days before, so.
And the other thing that was discussed yesterday were the two large planters that are outside of Wester Smith Building along the front. They are in bad shape. Sean, was going to look at fixing them, but they have not been used for a community garden for a couple years. So the discussion around the table yesterday was that they could be removed and not replaced. So,
I think the schools were using them a lot.
yeah. And then they seemed to not, it was a hit and miss with them. And then the Algonquins would go and plant something there, but again, it was, nobody was upkeeping them or, going over weeding, watering. The last few years, weed water, whatever was in there, while we were watering the flower gardens or flower beds, so I do believe that they could be removed. There is the community garden still over there with the 4 large raised beds. It just, again, nobody's been using it, but I don't wanna make the call to get rid of it all, so if somebody wants to do a community garden, it could be done over there.
The raised beds in front of the Madawaska Community Hall sometimes get neglected as well, and there is a summer resident that's volunteered to look after them this summer.
Right. Yeah, I think all of the flower beds or gardens, it's nice when they're looking good. It shows that somebody cares about the community,
Sure.
so good for her for volunteering.
Anybody else have anything? I would like to bring attention to the fact that Jamie McCrae has won a coronation medal for his work with McCrae Lumber and with the Hardwood Lumber Association of Ontario, which he's a huge member. He's either president or vice president. And in the notice that I got, it also says that some of his lumber is used in most NBA basketball courts. It's kind of a top-notch lumber to be in places like that. So I congratulate Jamie McCrae on that.
Wow.
Is there any business arising from the minutes? Any unfinished business? Correspondence, action item, there's one item, but the Whitney Union Cemetery. You want to discuss that now or under new business?
I'm gonna leave that up to Brian, and he's gonna speak to it, so. And I just see Marilyn Valley, she has joined us via Zoom. So.
Brian, did you have anything to?
Yeah, so Councillor Florent, I've spoken with the Bereavement Authority of Ontario. I know the Whitney Union Cemetery is hoping to transfer as early as the middle of July. But in speaking with the BAO this morning, we're not a licensed municipality. We don't currently have a license for any cemeteries. So there is a process for which we're going to have to go through. There's an application process with them. There's a bylaw that'll govern the operational cemetery moving forward. There's also a trust fund that has to be set up specifically with respect to the perpetual care reserve funds that are paid into it by people who are buying plots. So it is a process for us to undertake. It is going to result in additional staff time to prepare the documentation. It's going to result in additional staff time to manage the maintenance of and care of the cemetery, and ensuring that internments are completed in accordance with the legislative requirement. So it is going to create a bit of additional work, but under the legislative framework, basically the municipality, they have the right to transfer that to us. And if we were to say we didn't have interest, they would go back to the BAO, who most likely, given the nature of the size of our community, would come back and hand it to us anyway. So the simplest way to manage these is generally, well, you have two parties who can sit down and talk about any of the pre-sold lots, and making sure that all of the obligations are met currently, and that future obligations are met moving forward. So I don't see this is the simple way, but it is going to take some time and may involve survey work being needed to be done to determine the limits of the cemetery. And it's just going to take a little bit of time, but certainly we can move forward with that if council's in agreement.
Responsibilities for more than that cemetery is gonna fall on the township. Anybody at the table have anything they would like to add, or?
I'm just wondering about all the fees that Brian just spoke of. Is that something that we absorb then ourselves as a township?
So any of the fees that are collected are supposed to be towards perpetual care and maintenance of the cemetery. Any obligations that have currently been made by the Union Cemetery Board are contracts for which we're required to honor. But as part of it, we will be required to create bylaws related to fees for the services that we're providing. And any funds, there'll be a review by BAO of the status of the reserve funds that they have. And those reserve funds will be transferred, and they have to be held in trust. And there's specific rules around how those have to be held in trust.
Thank you.
So if they can be held, can they also be used to, for a little bit of number of hours for somebody to do that maintenance?
I believe that it can.
Can they
I know
be-
it cannot be used for capital purchases. So if you need a lawnmower or a whippersnipper, you can't use it for that. But certainly, I do believe for the operational maintenance, I haven't got that far into the legislative framework as of the moment, but we'll strive to get fully up to speed on that as quick as I can with staff. We've already scheduled necessary training on the legislative framework.
Because I can see the Madawaska Cemetery as well for the United Church falling in the same way. Because that church has now been shut down, hasn't it?
Once we have one licensed and we become a licensed operating authority, any others that would come along down the road would fall under that licensing regime, under those bylaws. So they're a little quicker down the road if people come to us, but we need to make sure that the first one we transfer meets all the legislative framework, and that we fully understand the obligations that have been committed to by the Union Cemetery Board.
You're cut out, Brian.
I'm sorry, what part did I cut out at, Joe?
ID, and then,
Pardon me?
I think you said ID and then you cut out.
Yeah, so any of the rest of them will fall under the current licensing regime that we have. Once we establish the licensing. So we do need to make sure that the first one we do, we get everything done properly. We make sure we fully understand the internment rights that are already committed to, and that we ensure that the municipality has all of the I's dotted and T's crossed. And then the other ones, should they come along, will just become part of that licensing regime. There's still a process, but it's a much quicker process because we have to get all the paperwork in order to begin with.
Councillor Bijan?
Brian, you mentioned, earlier in your comments about, surveying, so now all of them are gonna have to be surveyed, is that correct?
The property itself may require a legal survey to ensure that all of the existing plots are properly mapped and are within the framework of the property boundaries of the property. They may already have survey work that we can identify pins to confirm that. But there is some work that we're going to have to do both legally and with BAO that will need to be completed before we assume any responsibilities for maintenance and operation of the existing cemetery.
Thank you.
One of the cemeteries that I'm aware of created a trust fund with the money received for burial plots. And the trust fund interest pays for the upkeep. But the trouble with that is 1 year you may have $1,000 to spend on grass cutting, the next year you may have 200, depending on the fluctuating interest rate. So I would think that maybe when it becomes our responsibility, we should be doing something similar and creating a trust fund and then paying for the managing of it out of the trust fund. So it shouldn't come to be a burden to the taxpayers.
Yeah, no, we are legally obligated to maintain a trust fund for those, Councillor Florent. So yes, that's right under the legislative framework. And the funds have to be, the way we establish those funds has to be approved by BAO. So there's a little bit of work to getting them done, and technically should not cost the taxpayers anything. But I've not looked at what reserves and reserve funds have been set up and how they've been managed and all of that. So it is going to take a bit of work to see what obligations are already out there. The other concern that I would have is that in order to transfer it, they're going to need legal title to the property to transfer the property to us. The legal title may or may not be clean because it might be a cemetery that was created 100 years ago and title didn't get the current group isn't maybe the legal owner, so there'll be a bit of work to do possibly on legal title, etc. But it's certainly not something that's unmanageable, and we'll move forward. And if others come forward at a future date, we'll manage those on a case by case basis once we get this one established.
Sounds good, Brian. For moving forward on it. So we'll move on to the next item, which is correspondence. Received for information. Is there anything in the information package that anybody wants to bring forward? Nothing there? I just mentioned on number 3, the youth forum that took place month and a half ago, I guess it is now. I took part in that at the visitor center, and it was amazing to see the interest of the younger people in the forest sector, whether it be as conservation officers or working in a sawmill or in a logging operation or anything to do with forests. It was very well attended, and I think they're planning on doing it on a semi-annual basis from now on, or every second year, something like that. Okay, my computer has decided that it's going somewhere that I'm not, but we'll move on to new business. Is there anybody have any new business to bring up? Next item is number 15, the motions of council. Yeah, which number are they on?
Page 60.
60. First one is the motion about the auditor report. Isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll move that.
It's moved by Councillor Collins, seconded by Councillor Kuyak.
That council for the corporation of the township of South Algonquin accepts the 2024 audited financial statements as presented at the May 22nd, 2025 Human Resources Administration and Public Relations Committee meeting.
Any discussion? All in favor? Carried. Second one is the motion to approve the members of the Economic Development Committee. We need a mover, Councillor Kuyak, seconded by Councillor Pija.
That council for the corporation of the township of South Algonquin appoints Barney Baker as a representative from the South Algonquin Business Alliance, Nadia Pruitt, Kimberly Gorman, and Leah Geddes as members of the Economic Development Committee.
Any discussion? All in favor? Carried. The next one is to accept the quote for the replacement of the windows in downstairs, I think here. I need a mover. Moved by Councillor Kuyak. Seconder, Councillor Sidoc.
The council for the corporation of the township of South Algonquin accepts the quote of $14,582.15, including HST from Valley Windows and Doors for the replacement of the senior center windows.
Any discussion? All in favor? Carried. The next one is the motion to approve the purchase of the playground equipment. Need a mover? Councillor Kuyak, seconded by Councillor Sidoc.
The council for the corporation of the township of South Algonquin approves the purchase of the inclusive playground equipment from Inspire Playground Inc. in the amount of $24,981 plus HST.
Any discussion? Councillor Pijot.
Does that include installation?
This one is for the playground, so they do the install themselves. We have to prep grade with our excavator, so we move all the piece going. And then we have to put in the engineered mulch as well, which I believe the rec committee has agreed to pay for, I believe.
I think what we've done, instead of the mulch, we've gone with the grass mats.
Okay,
And that'll go either on top of the gravel or on earth.
So the whole playground's gonna be grass mats?
No, just where the inclusive equipment is.
Oh,
my understanding, like there was the one swing set that's getting modified using the existing frame.
Yes,
So that one, the grass mats were working, but the new system, like the teeter totter outfit
yeah,
there,
the rock.
it would have to be separated with the engineered mulch in it. And it would get packed in I believe 6 or 1 foot, 6 inch or 1 foot lifts. So we would have to do that.
You could be right, but that's not what I got from Adam.
Okay,
That instead of doing the mulch, we would do the grass mats.
the mulch wasn't much anyway, it was about $1,500,
Yeah.
I believe it was, when I talked to Adam. about it.
Just because we thought if the mulch and the pea gravel were together, they're going to mix. And the whole idea was so that anybody in a wheelchair or mobility device, whether it's a wheelchair or walker, that they'd have to be able to navigate across that pea gravel. Which if you had mulch, that would be difficult too, so like I said yesterday, the committee decided to go with the grass mats.
Okay.
Any other discussion?
thank you.
All in favor? Councillor Collins, seconded by Councillor Rodnick.
For the playground equipment,
Oh, I'm sorry.
it was Kuyak and Sidoc.
Yeah. I'm getting ahead of myself here. The next motion is to approve the purchase of a grader. Need a mover? Can I move that myself? Don't worry, I'll ask somebody. Councillor Pija. Seconded. Counselor Collins.
That council for the corporation, the township of South Algonquin approves the purchase of a 2015 Volvo G970 loader grader with snowplow and dozer blade in the amount of $145,100 plus HST from Jade Equipment Company Limited, and that the funds for the purchase will be transferred from reserve account 16-3000.
Any discussion? Counselor Collins.
What is happening to our existing grader? Is it being put on the open market or through auction or
So,
what? Because
I-
that will reduce the amount accordingly, won't it?
Exactly, so one thing I come up with Jade, or they call it Evelyn equipment now, is we've rented that grader a couple in 2023 for a month. They do monthly rentals on the grader. So what I've asked them to do is if we take the grader out, if we're interested in that grader, that we would take it out on a month rental. And then we would try the grader out for a month to see how it operates, how it runs. And if we're satisfied after the month with how it's operating, they would take that rental amount off the purchase price. So more or less gives us a month to run, because you're buying a piece of used equipment. So it gives us the ability to run it for a month and see if there's any kinks with it. If it's running good at the end of the month and we're satisfied with it, then that rental price will be taken off the purchase price.
Okay, but our existing one, what's your plans for our existing?
I would
grader?
say I would like to see how the new one operates and everything before I would keep the old one until we're done that monthly period. Once that's done, if it's working fine, running, operating fine, then it would get up for a surplus after that. So it'd go up to
So,
auction. So
Through auction,
there's gov deals that we would post it on.
okay.
Yeah,
It'll have to come back to council for it to be declared surplus.
Okay,
Do you have any idea how much that our own would be worth?
I've been looking around for the last 6 months for graders. I couldn't see getting any more than 25 to 35,000 for our grader if we were to get rid of it. That's what they're going for if they don't sell for too much.
And
That's
once
good though, because that would get us back into the budgeted amount.
we'd be putting that money back into the reserve to offset the transfer, so we wouldn't have to, we would continue to build that for future needs.
Well, thank you, Brian. Any other questions? Councillor Pigeon.
When is this gonna take effect? So, talking with them, I actually went up, looked at the grader with one of our operators. I also had a Strongco mechanic come up with me, the guy we've used here at the yard for years. He was able to plug in all his computer and diagnostics into it to pull up any history on the machine, just to make sure there wasn't error codes that popped up 5 years ago or anything major that showed on the machine. So he plugged all his stuff in, and we looked at 3 pieces of equipment, and that was the one that looked in the best condition for those 3 pieces of used equipment. So, like I say, seemed like he figured it was a pretty decent machine, and that guy sort of knows what to look for when looking for a grader, more so than myself. So I think it was worth taking him up.
So when would
It could be ready as early as next Monday or Tuesday.
delivering?
And they're delivering. And the delivery fees included in the resolution costs there.
Any other questions?
One.
Councillor Craig.
Just from a money perspective, this is coming from our reserves. We also have a dump truck, or not a dump truck, something, snowplow coming, which is 350,000 that is coming this year, I believe.
Supposedly.
It's got, so the snowplow, we had it in the budget for this year. But a few weeks ago, I had asked for an update on the plow truck. And just due to parts and delays and stuff, it was supposed to be ready for August. It's going to get pushed till next March. So that won't be coming to this year. That truck won't be.
Because, I mean, if you're really looking, you're looking at 500,000 out of our reserve. Do we have 500,000 in our reserve? After our equipment, we're doing all of that this year, I mean, is there money there?
Councillor Kuyak, if I may answer that. That was all part of the budget that council approved. Those transfers were included in the budget and the reserves are there partly for that purpose. We put money away to buy our equipment. That being said, the plow truck we're not going to receive this year, but we did budget to put money back to the reserve to pay off the reserve because that's how we pay for our equipment is annually we put a fixed amount back into the budget to pay them off over time. But this year's payment will go ahead in even though we haven't acquired the truck yet.
Not putting anything there for other things, right?
We've been putting money in that reserve for that truck since 2023.
Right, 26,000, is that where your 1% was going? Or was there actual money set aside for that truck? And how much?
No, yeah, as we've been purchasing the trucks, rather than paying the bank money in accordance with our bylaw, we borrow the money from ourselves and we pay it at the interest rate back. So we assume that a truck is going to last for X number of years and we pay it back over that time to ourselves with interest versus paying the interest to the bank.
No, I understand all that, I just was, yeah, anyways,
Yeah.
that's fine, I have no qualms as long as there's money there.
Myself personally, I'm flabbergasted at how long it's taking to get a truck.
So, but
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're not, the motion was regarding the grader, not the dump truck.
I'm just.
Any other questions about the grader? Seeing none, all in favor? It's carried. I want to point out that when I made the mix up at the last motion, that motion was carried. The next one is a motion to approve transfer of $1,500 from the library reserved for the purpose of the Astronomy in Action program. I need a mover. Councillor Sydock, seconded by Councillor Rodnick.
The Council for the Corporation of the Township of South Algonquin approves the transfer of $1,500 from the library programming reserve for the purpose of the Astronomy in Action program.
Any questions? All in favor? It's carried. The next one is the one that I've declared a conflict of interest on, so I will ask somebody else. I'll ask Tracy to call for it.
And I have a mover and a seconder. The motion. Councillor Kuyak. Councillor Pijot. A council for the corporation of the Township of South Algonquin appoints Councillor Florent as deputy mayor to serve in the event that Mayor LaValle is unable to fulfill the duties of mayor. Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried. I'll pass it back to Councillor Florent.
The next one is the motion to approve the cheaper rental hourly rate that we discussed at the I think it was the economic development meeting where that one was.
HR, yeah.
Can I have a mover? Councillor Collins, seconded by Councillor Sydock.
A council for the corporation of the Township of South Algonquin approves Cheeky Mama Baking Company to use the Madawaska Complex Kitchen for a fee of $20 out an hour, plus HST during Madawaska library hours.
Any discussion?
Can I have an addition to that, that outside the library hours, the kitchen can still be used, but for an enhanced fee?
Well, I think that goes without saying. Because it's only, the motion is specific to the hours that the library is open.
Okay. I just was trying to cover all eventualities with this, so.
Can we add that, Tracy? Or does it change the nature?
And outside of the hours, right, you would go back to the regular fee,
Mm.
which would be. I
Yeah,
can't
I
remember what the
think-
fee is.
I think Nadia has already stated that she will stay within those hours.
Yeah.
And it's just specifically for her, but we can add in that if outside of Madawaska library hours, that the regular
Great.
2-hour fee will apply.
Sure, that's okay with me. Is
Yes.
everybody else
That
approved?
sounds reasonable.
Right. Said it and then now it's something that.
So is there any discussion to the amended motion? Seeing none, all in favor? It's carried. The next motion is a motion to approve the Whitney Outpost Market. I need a mover. Councillor Kuyak and seconded by Councillor Collins.
Sorry, still writing. Who first, who do that?
Councillor Kuyak and Councillor Collins.
The council for the corporation, the township of South Algonquin approves Whitney Outpost Market to use Gallery Lake Memorial Park on the first Sunday of each month from June through to October.
Any discussion? Councillor Collins.
There is no time frame put into that. Is it from 7 in the morning till midday? Is it from 10 till 2?
10 to 3.
10 till 3? Okay. I think that should be included in the motion.
They set up early,
I was
though.
gonna
I
say
think
they
they
were
were
set
there at 8, I think. Yeah, last week.
So do we cover it by saying 8 till 3 or 8 till 4? I think leaving it open like that is not a good fit.
You may want to add maybe that all signs of the market should be cleaned up by a certain time.
Mhm.
Obviously, some markets are gonna require more prep time and to get ready for them than others.
I think this is very open, the way it's laid out here. I think we need to tighten it down a little bit.
Anybody else feel that way?
Should be, I think so.
What time is it? What time is it?
10 to 3.
But if we did like from 8 till
5
4, 5,
until 5.
Yeah.
8 to 5. So I'll read it again. The council for the corporation of the township of South Algonquin approves the Whitney Outpost Market to use Gallery Lake Memorial Park on the first Sunday of each month from June through until October from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Between the hours of 8
between the hours of
and 5 only,
8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
only.
Any discussion?
I think the word only needs to be in there.
Only, no?
Where are you putting only at the end of the sentence?
Each month from June through until October from 8 a.m. to 5, between the hours of 8 a.m. and 5 a.m. only.
5
No,
p.m.
5 p.m., sorry.
I don't think you need the word only in
Okay.
there. If there's no further discussion, can I have a motion or approval? It's carried. The next motion is to amend the schedule of fees for the commercial bin pickup. Need a mover? Councillor Rodnick, seconded by Councillor Kuyak.
The council for the corporation, the township of South Algonquin authorizes staff to update the schedule of fees to include a $75 charge for each additional commercial bin pickup effective July 1st, 2025.
Discussion? Councillor Kuyak.
It was brought to my attention, there was some confusion out in the community. If a business has more than one bin, is it $75 each bin, or is it $75 per trip to tip the bins? So might need some clarity that it would include all bins at that commercial property, right? Is that what we were looking at? If I had two bins, I asked you to come and do an additional,
It'd be per bin.
is it per bin
I would
or
say,
is it
Steve, would you
per,
say that's per bin because
or is it
I
per?
thought it was per pickup.
That's
what I thought
too.
I believed it to be per pickup.
Yes.
It leaves a lot of room for conjecture, because if somebody had two bins and I was the one charging the fee, I would charge them for the second bin, according to this.
Right, so that, I think we need some clarity before it gets passed. Because I was under the assumption that if I had two bins, I called because both were full again. It would be one trip in and both bins would be empty.
If we just took the word bin
Out.
out of the last line,
That's what I'm thinking
said-
too.
$75 charge for each additional commercial pickup.
Mm.
It would,
bin.
Instead of
Just
bin.
one bin.
so it wouldn't matter if you had one, two, or three is.
Right.
$75.
Any other discussion? Councillor Pijot, you had your hand up.
Yeah, there's, one thing I don't know, that these bins, these commercial bins, this is directed at Steve, these commercial bins, there's no construction waste in these, right?
No, it's usually always household waste.
Household waste. Right.
Recyclables, household.
So what happens if you come across a bin that is full of construction waste?
Really run into that too often. I'd have to talk to the operator of the garbage truck because they physically see what's in it. But for the majority, they always just have household or recyclables or stuff like that. And most businesses don't generate construction demolition at the business site.
I mean, hopefully that this will encourage a little more of taking the recyclables out, so you don't have to have the charge for the additional pickup. That's our aim, isn't it? To get people to manage their recyclables.
Okay, if there's no other discussion, I'll call the vote. All in favor? It's carried. The next one is to charge the bike fee. I need a mover. Councillor Sidon, seconded by Councillor Pijot.
That council for the corporation of the township of South Algonquin authorizes staff to update the schedule of fees by law to include a $2 per bag fee for curbside waste collection exceeding 2 bags effective September 1st, 2025.
Any discussion? Councillor Pijot.
These two last motions, one with the commercial bins and with the garbage bag, additional fees. This is, and I want to make sure that everybody understands, this is to encourage recycling. We have a recycling program here and this is to encourage it. It's not to punish.
And it is a recycling program that is free of charge if you take your recycling to either of the two landfills.
It was part of the discussion for this motion, but I don't see it in the motion that there's no charge to take your bags to the dump yourself. And I'm just wondering,
It says curbside waste collection.
it does. In the newsletter that's going out, does it say that that
It's on the very front page, and I believe it says new.
okay, it does discuss, it does say there that you can take it to the dump at no fee. So that satisfies my concerns. Anybody else have anything else they want to add to that motion before I call the vote? Okay, all in favor? It's carried. Tracy, I think you had an additional motion.
Yep, for the approval of the HVAC unit for the Madawaska complex.
That's the one that's broke down. And it broke down last one. So I need a mover. Councillor Collins, second by Councillor Pija.
That council for the corporation of the township of South Algonquin approves the purchase of a rooftop HVAC unit in the amount of 16,150 plus HST to replace the existing unit at Madawaska complex.
Any discussion? All in favor? It's carried. That's it for motions, Tracy?
That's it.
Okay, we'll move on to the bylaws. You want me to read these before I get a mover, or do you get a mover first, then read them?
We can just discuss it. The first one is about the Angelic lease agreement for the resource center. One is for an access agreement between the property owner and us for access over road allowance in Lyle Township, and the other one is the confirming bylaw.
Can I have a mover? Councillor Kuyak, second. Councillor Collins,
That bylaw 2025-838 rental lease agreement with Angelic for 9 Post Street. Bylaw 2025-839 unopened road allowance access agreement between concession 8 and 9 in the geographic township of Lyle. And bylaw 2025-840 to confirm the proceedings of the council be read a first time and deemed to be read a second time.
any discussion? All in favor? It's carried. We need a third reading now, so I need a mover. Councillor Sidoc, seconded by Councillor Rodney.
That bylaw 2025-838 rental lease agreement with Angelic for 9 Post Street. Bylaw 2025-839 unopened road allowance access agreement between concession 8 and 9 in the geographic township of Lyle. And bylaw 2025-840 to confirm the proceedings of council be read a third time and passed.
Any discussion? All in favor? It's carried. Next thing on the item is the resolution to move into closed session. Have a mover, Councillor Kuyak, seconded by Councillor Collins.
The council for the corporation of the township of South Algonquin move into a closed session of council in accordance with the Ontario Municipal Act, Part 6, Section 239, 2E, litigation or potential litigation, including matters before administrative tribunal affecting municipality or local board. Discussion with John Mascarian, municipal lawyer of Arid and Burles LLP concerning potential litigation at 9:55 a.m. And if you can just give me a minute, I'm just going to go on.